Welcome everyone. It is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. Welcome to the Municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc. The Municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc acknowledges it is located on Treaty 21 territory. We are thankful to the generations of people who have taken care of this land, including Chippewa the Thames First Nation, the Munsee Delaware First Nation, and the Oneida Nation of the Thames. Roll call. This evening, both Councillors Palmer and Kennis are absent with notice. Motion to approve the agenda for tonight's proceedings. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Hippel. All in favor? That motion carries. Excuse me. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? We'll now move in camera. Council may move into closed session for the purpose of discussing the following. 2 items in accordance with Council's procedure bylaw to approve regular in-camera meeting minutes of October 20th, 2025, and special in-camera meeting minutes of October 27th, 2025. And 2 items pursuant to Section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act as amended regarding personal matters of an identifiable individual, including municipal employees, employee performance, and employee contract. Motion to move into closed session. Councillor Brennan, second by Deputy Mayor. All in favor? That motion carries.
Does sound like.
It's the end of the first period.
Welcome back, everyone. Closed session adjourned at 7:03 p.m. Council met in closed session to consider matters is permitted to do so under the municipal act and is listed on tonight's council agenda. The following items were considered during the closed session. 2 items in accordance with council's procedure bylaw to approve in-camera meeting minutes. 1 set of minutes were approved, 1 set of minutes were not approved. 2 items pursuant to section 239 2B of the municipal act regarding personal matters of an identifiable individual, including municipal employees, employee performance, employee contract. Council received a verbal update from staff. Direction was given to staff. Motion to approve the direction given in closed session. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Pelkman. All in favor of the direction given? Opposed, if any? Motion's carried. This evening, I appreciate everybody's patience. We have 2 service award presentations. I don't see the people here, so I'll read off who they are. Both have 25 years of service. First is Darren Downing. Darren works as manager of community services. Thank you, Darren, for your service. Second is Colin Primmick. Colin also works in parks and facilities operator in a community and development services department. Thank you, Colin. Public meeting number 1. The purpose of this public meeting is to consider an application for zoning bylaw amendment for the property located at 125 Metcalf Street in Strathroy. Motion to open the meeting. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Wilsey. All in favor? Motion carries. Mr. Williams, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This is a rezoning application for 125 Metcalf Street West in Strathroy, which is on the north side of Metcalf Street. It is a property that also has frontage on Richmond Street. However, the rezoning would not extend to the vacant portion of this parcel. This is an existing commercial there is an existing commercial building on the Metcalf frontage, and the rezoning is associated with that building and the immediate surrounding lands for parking and access. This is a rezoning to allow commercial uses in this commercial building that were not previously existing on the property, more specifically a retail store for fabric and the like. Staff are recommending approval, and there is a bylaw on tonight's agenda. I'm available for questions.
Thanks, Tim. Any comments or inquiries from members of the public? Any from members of council? All right, motion to close the public meeting. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Hippel. All in favor? Motion carries. There are 2 motions. Rezoning application ZBA 17-2025 for 125 Metcalf Street West be approved. And further, that the bylaw number 119-25 be referred to the consideration of bylaws section of the agenda. Someone bring a motion. Councillor Pelkman, second by Councillor Wilsey. All in favor? Those motions carry. There are 2 sets of minutes in front of you. One is for approval of the regular council meeting minutes of October 20th. The other is the special council meeting minutes of October 27th, 2025. Councillor Wilsey.
For 9.2, this the special council meeting minutes, the direction coming out of closed didn't match the direction given in closed. So I think we're going to defer that one and wait for the clerk to come back with a correction for us. So I would make a motion to accept 9.1 and defer 9.2.
Seconder on Councillor Wilsey's motion. Councillor Derbyshire. All in favor of those motions? Motions carried. Consent agenda, there are 6 items in front of you. Does anyone wish to remove any? Councillor Hippel.
Sorry, yeah, the very first one, actually.
Okay.
So, 10.1.1.
Okay. Any Councillor Wilsey?
10.1.4.
Deputy Mayor.
10.2.2.
Okay. Okay, motion to receive 10.1.2, 10.1.3, and 10.2.1. Some bring the motion. Councillor Wilsey, second by Councillor Palkman. All in favor? Motion carries. Councillor Hippel, 10.1.1.
Yes, thank you. Through yourself, I was just wondering, well, this has to be addressed, so, there has to, if there was anyone here to address how this kind of happened, I mean, he laid it out pretty well, but it would be interesting to know if it was just a quick little slip up, or if there was something, that perhaps we didn't know, just unsure.
Can you handle that one, Manager Williams?
I'd be happy to give you a quick rundown. Part of the history here is that this is a committee of adjustment application that came forward, was heard, and a decision granted by the committee of adjustment, and then a request for return of fees was presented to the committee of adjustment, and the committee of adjustment turned down that request. So this is actually the second request now coming, I guess, to the higher level, we'll call it, at this point. And with the a request that went to the committee, there was a report written by staff that did provide some details as to what did occur in advance of the meeting. And what I can say is that both the LRO's mapping as well as mapping for the county, which is provided by the LRO to the county and then in turn to the local, all showed those two properties combined. And from what we understood from the applicant, the two properties were combined because they purchased one property. Otherwise, they would have purchased two, and there wouldn't have been a question about a severance. And so they came in for a severance application and went through the process. And it was only after they went through that process that the surveyor was able to determine that there was the ability for the property to be separate. But that was after a lawyer had purchased this on their behalf and alike. They did come in and speak with me prior to them purchasing the property and asked if we would have any problems with the severance on the property, and I said, no, we wouldn't. There wasn't an issue because both of those both of the property is over 100 acres. It's 200 acres, and so it naturally was 200 acres in the past, and then they're asking for something that's totally fine from the open. I'm gonna wrap it up. The last piece I said during that pre-consultation was, as much as we like to see people come in and have positive applications that come forward, if your lawyer can come up with a way to have this purchased from one person and separated into two, we wouldn't have any problem with that. But that's not a municipal thing. That's have your lawyer take a look at that. They then came back with an application once they owned it. So it didn't work out, and so that's where we are today.
Follow up, any other questions? Councilor Derbyshire.
So are they asking, this letter is asking our council to make a decision here?
Mr. Williams.
They are, and so I guess the situation would be, this is information, and without stepping on clerks or anyone like that, I guess the question is, if you felt that it was something that we should be reporting back to you, we could certainly provide you with some additional information, or you could accept it for information and leave it at that.
I would just ask for this to be deferred to another meeting so we can get information, since the request has been made but possibly put in the wrong spot. Maybe we should have had it, because I don't believe we're supposed to be making motions out of communications. So, which I do believe deferring is a motion, but I think that's
I would just make Councilor
refer
for his staff report.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. Councilor Brandon.
Might I ask a question then? Am I to understand that this request was denied by our committee of adjustment? and they're appealing to council at this point? Is that what's happening?
The request was made to the Committee of Adjustment. A decision was made by the Committee of Adjustment not to return the fees. Yes, that's correct. And then we'll call it an appeal of the higher body, but council is obviously, the head, and the committees are obviously below that, so yes.
Just a point of order. We have a motion, I need a seconder for the councillor's motion.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, anybody is second the councillor's motion? Deputy Mayor, okay, now it's
I
open
should
for
have called my
discussion.
question till then. I thought you had a
Now
separate,
it's
sorry.
open for discussion.
Yeah, because I guess when I used to be on Committee of Adjustment, we'd have requests for things like this. We'd make a ruling and it would come to council, and it was either for council to support or not support the ruling of Committee of Adjustment. And I'm just trying to clarify that's what we're doing now. Obviously, some members of this council are on Committee of Adjustment, and they were participant in that decision. So, the fact that we'll refer it and get more information later, I guess, is great, but I just want to understand what we're doing here. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor of the motion in front of you to refer for a report? All in favor? Opposed, any? Motion carries. Thank you. Greg, 10.1.4.
My comment on this is just to bring attention to it, that this is pretty big with coming through and looking at the zoning bylaw changes. My question I had was actually for the manager of planning. I think he was the one who put the notice out. I saw that there is a date and a time. The question I've got is if there's anywhere that someone can review the proposed zoning amendments and changes before that meeting, or is everything just there? Is there more information than just the one page you sent out to council and is posted? Is there a place where we could read over what's looking at being changed before that meeting, or our public just shows up and asks questions based on what's presented?
It is on the website, so the draft zoning bylaw amendment and the schedules associated with that, they're on the town's website. I'm happy, if we're allowed to do this, I could send out an email to all of council with a link tomorrow, if that's okay.
And I guess I looked at what was submitted to the public, and I didn't see that link there. I read through it, and I spent some time trying to find where it was too, and I couldn't find what it was to review. So I'm sure the public would. Is there a way we could amend the notice to put the link right on there, or do I just not know how to read the notice, which might be possible as well.
To answer that, is there a way, Greg's question to?
There's a link at the bottom of the website. We're just double checking, and I think it's broken right now, but it was up recently. We'll reset it. Wasn't aware of the fact that had happened, so we'll fix that.
Motion to receive that communication. Councillor Wilsey, second by Councillor Palkman. All in favor? Motion carries. Deputy Mayor, you wish to speak to 10.2.2?
I do, thank you. So I find that these type of reports where we're getting stats are too detailed for this council, or for a council. So I would recommend, or I will motion that we send a request back to the PSB to look at best practices in what they submit to councils. And my reasoning for that is, I think getting the minutes of the meeting is certainly proper, but when you get down into 10.2.2 with all of the stats, we should not be receiving, and because when we receive it, it opens it for comment, and these are things council should not be commenting on. The number of charges, the type of charges, the actions of officers is beyond the scope of this and the sole domain of the Police Services Board.
Okay. Were you looking for a motion for that, Deputy, or just?
I did make a motion that it be referred back to the PSB to look at best practices and what they report on.
Is there a seconder for the motion? Councilor Brennan, and you probably have a question.
Yeah, I'll second it, and what I will ask is that when we raise it at our next PSB meeting, Ron Leclerc is our provincial liaison, and I think he will be able to provide us with the best practices about what is done in other jurisdictions to address your concerns. So maybe we'll just make a point of making that that's on our agenda, and that Ron LeClaire is notified in advance of that concern, and he can give us a well-reasoned and thorough explanation at our next meeting, which we can bring back here by some vehicle, either in the minutes or oral.
Councillor Pelkman.
Yes, thank you. I mean, all these reports are available publicly through the Police Service Board minutes prior to the agenda. I see this as keeping up with the value of our police service. It's important for council to understand the value of our police service.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, so you have a second and motion in front of you. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Greg, I didn't see what, I was looking at you, Greg.
Yeah, no, and I guess I'm not clear on exactly what motion is we're voting on, so that was,
Okay,
we get the motion read?
Yes, so Deputy Mayor made a motion to send a request to the PSB, the Police Services Board, on best practices on what they send to council. And that was regarding item 10.2.2.
Yeah, in favor of that.
okay, thank you, the motion carries. You were the swing vote. Next is Community Services, the Gateway Signage Tender Award. Were you going to do that, or who think, Heather, are you doing Director of the Law, or are you doing who's?
The gateway signage.
That's you?
That's my
Okay. Do you have the report in front of you? Are there any questions of Director Littlemore?
This.
Yep, Councilor Derbyshire.
So the total value is 269. We budgeted 400 for this. Is that correct?
Through the chair to Councilor Derbyshire, yes, the budgeted amount was $425,000.
So I guess my next question, my follow-up would be, in this, we're doing all three signs, the Strathroy, Melbourne, and Mount Bridges. I guess my thought was, and I'll kind of maybe speak a little bit for Councillor Palmer, was I thought Strathroy was getting something different. I thought they wanted something more than just these wooden, the wooden illuminated signs. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not what I thought I heard. I thought that this was more just for kind of Melbourne and Mount Bridges on the county roads.
Through the chair to Councilor Derbyshire, we were directed at, I believe it was the meeting in July, to come back with turn my mic on. We were directed to come back in July with updated graphics. When we brought back the original update, which was we were just cutting the bottom 2 feet off the sign, and that was a request from the county of Middlesex to do that for snow removal purposes. When we did that, Councillor Palmer indicated that she was a little disappointed with how they looked and sent us back to come back with some revised graphics. And that's where we utilized our in-house communications coordinator, who, if you take a look on page 3, came back with a couple different options. One's punched out acrylic, which requires a hydro connection, the spotlight wash, which is a solar connection, and then an option that is just reflective vinyl. You will notice that the signs that you see in the report have some enhanced graphics along the bottom. It's kind of like a shadow. Strathroy has the Town Hall bell tower, Melbourne has the furrows, and Mount Bridges has the looks like wheatgrass. So that's what was brought forward. Council approved that at that meeting. Councillor Pammer may have been thinking about the primary ID signs, what you would see on the highways. We have not brought that forward to council at this point for that.
Okay. Follow up, Councillor.
Sorry, I'm just gonna make a motion that we save this money and re-put it back into the upcoming budget with possibly how tight that's gonna be. If these are just the road signs going in on the county roads, I do believe we already have signs adequate enough to tell us where we are. And this is an easy way to put $450,000 back in the budget when it's not really needed. This is kind of more a want than a need. So that would be my motion, is to not do anything. We just put the money back into next year's capital budget.
Do you have a seconder for your motion? Okay. Sorry. Councillor Wilsey, any questions on that? Councillor Pelkman.
The money was approved for this budget though, correct?
Through the chair to Councillor Pelkman, that is correct, yes.
Councillor Wilsey.
So, to add to that, this was this year's portion of that. I believe this was a multi-year, and this was only the next portion of it. I think there's still 2 or 3 more years to add to it that were the same amount. I do remember discussions being something that they wanted, Councillor Pammer, I believe the mayor said it as well, at least from my recollection, that they wanted something grander, similar to like the archway that is over the highway now. The other comment I'll make with these signs is that if we do Strathroy-Caradoc for Melbourne, Melbourne is a split village, and at all the other entrances to Melbourne, and I believe maybe even on the one which would go right beside our sign, there's already an updated county sign that's been there in the last year. So the county did updated signs for, I think every town in the county except for half of Melbourne and half of Strathroy. I think there's maybe even a new county sign coming in to Strathroy. I'm not 100% sure on that, in Adelaide Metcalfe. But we're already putting signs in that are gonna go right next to ones where the county just put new signs not too long ago, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Any other comments? Councillor Brennan.
Well, my comment would be it's a budgeted item for $450,000, and staff has brought something back for $269. So we'd be saving $269, because that's what's being, with a contingency fee for $40,000, and it's only going to get more expensive. And so I will be voting against the motion to defer this expenditure and voting in favor of following through.
Councillor Hippel.
Thank you. Through yourself, this is something that has been talked about over maybe about 6 years with that. I don't know if I'd say 5, 6 years, something like that. And we've changed, we've always wanted it because it's been an economic development kind of a highlight really for our community, for our municipality as a whole. It is in the budget. It just, we've changed directions a few times because the signs themselves weren't something we were looking for, and council had changed. So, and we kind of updated them, and of course we were also in COVID for a while there, so lots of things stopped. But as we grow and as more people are coming here for various items, whether it's I know I always say hockey, but for whatever it is that you're coming here, like it's kind of an important thing for people wanting to build businesses or bring businesses. Definitely this would be something Heather Lalonde would, I know would appreciate, because it's vital for economic development for our municipality. That's what I think anyway, so that's just my thought.
Yep, Councillor Derbyshire, then we'll bring a vote.
So I will just say, yes, it was budgeted for, but with what is coming forward with the budget and the amounts that are needed, and I will just say these are on county roads. I do believe that the county supplies signs on these roads. So we are now going, even though it's $269,000, we're still doubling and replacing a sign that is placed there for free. So when we get down to being good stewards of money, is this a good way to spend your money, $260,000, replacing signs that are there for free. That's all I've got to say.
Okay. All right, we have a second motion, all in to, can you read the motion back? I don't want to use the wrong words, I'm sorry.
Sorry. That the money be saved and put back into the upcoming budget.
Okay. All in favor of that motion? Opposed, if any, motion's defeated. The motions in front of you are the council approve the gateway signage tender award to Pacific Sign Group from Oshawa, Ontario, solar illuminated as identified in the report for a value of $269,976 plus HST, and the council approve a 15% contingency for a value of $40,497,000. $97.
Totaling 310.
Motion, Councillor Brennan, second by Councillor Pelton. Any questions? Councillor Hippel.
Thank you, through yourself to, well, I guess, CAO Lilburn tonight. So can you, I mean, Councillor Derbyshire brought up a good point that people are gonna ask. So can you kind of give me an idea as to what is the difference, as opposed to what we're doing and what the county has done?
Through the chair to Councillor Palmer. From my knowledge, and I just called you Councillor Palmer.
That's okay.
I'm terribly sorry, Councillor Hippel. The last time I went for a drive, which was just a couple weeks ago, the only county signs that I saw erected were in Melbourne, on Melbourne property. So the coming in on Longwoods and I cannot remember the other street, Melbourne Road, thank you, were Strathroy-Caradoc signs. Strathroy has Strathroy signs, and Mount Bridges have Mount Bridges signs that were the wooden carved ones. The difference between the signs that we're installing or that are here for award tonight are steel signs, fully steel, with quick safety breakaways attached to concrete. The signs that you would receive from the county are plywood sheets with a decal applied and a laminate over top of the decal, tied to 6x6s into the shoulder of the road. So large difference from a longevity perspective and appearance over time.
Councillor Wilsey.
On that, I'm gonna, yeah, the ones in Mount Bridges weren't done, but, and I guess the reason I found out about the county signs is driving through Kamoka. The new signs actually were quite an improvement over the old ones. They do look nice. They're also free, and they're on our towns just coming in from our same towns from different municipalities. My question would be why we didn't participate when the county did all of it. Did we decline to do it when they did the rest of the county and excluded Strathroy-Caradoc? I don't know why the towns in our municipality were not done when the rest of the county was, but that's a question I've asked a few times and I've never gotten an answer. But I guess if we're gonna spend money to duplicate what the county's doing, we'll do that.
Yep. Councillor Peltman.
I can answer that question. We, this is back when Andrew Meyer was on staff. We had already started our signage program and creating an identity for Strathroy-Caradoc when the county decided they were gonna also do the same. We were probably about 4 years in already on getting signs up and creating our own, I can't think of the word right now, but branding. Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Deputy Mayor, then we'll go to Councillor.
Just very quickly, two councillors have mentioned done for free by others. It's not done for free. Just remember, we pay taxes to the county. We're paying for those signs.
Yep. Councillor Derbyshire.
Okay, you're right. We do pay a per diem to these people. I'm sure it's not $260,000. When I say for free, when I look at this as a tax-based dollar, we don't actually see our levy going to the county. We just know so much goes. So where it goes and how they spend it is up to them. This money here is up to us and how we spend it. So what I'm saying is I think the next budget's going to get pretty tough. I don't know, we haven't seen it. It'll be presented to us soon enough. This is a pretty good chunk of change that represents what could be done possibly somewhere else. Signage is what it is, and if you want to look pretty, then vote for this. Otherwise, 2x4s and plywood function to represent where we are. Most people have Google, and most people are on their phone unless you're driving. So I get it. I understand what we're trying to do. I just think when you look at the times, the economy, the way things are shaping up, is this the best spot to have our money parked? And the other thing I would ask is that we record this.
Okay, record a vote. Yep. Did you have a question, Cousin?
I just actually, through yourself, I wondered if I could ask Heather, Director Manager Heather Lalone, I'm not sorry, a little bit, like just a couple of seconds, if you could just, the sign of the times. I like that Councilor Derbyshire said that, because these are the times that this is actually pretty important, especially for economic development side of it. So just kind of talk to that for just really quickly.
Sure. Through the chair to Councillor Hippel, understanding there are budget pressures, I do believe that through the in-house design of the proposed signs that we have paid attention to financial concerns, but it's also important to understand that when investors are looking at communities, they're looking at all aspects of it. And one of the first impressions that investors see when they come to a community is the sign. So if a community appears that it's investing in itself, it becomes more attractive to investors.
Okay, got a requested for a recorded vote, and according to the procedures, recorded votes are done by, sorry, I apologize. We have a request for a recorded vote. Recorded votes are done alphabetical order. First was Councilor Brennan, for or against?
The motion being in favor of the expenditure? Yes, and I vote for this, yes.
Okay, Councilor Derbyshire?
Against.
I vote for. Councilor Hippel?
For.
Councilor McGuire?
Against.
Councilor Pelkman?
For.
Councilor Wilsey?
Against.
Motion carries. Next is Engineering Public Works, a tender award the drain maintenance on the Bell Drain. Motion is that council award the Bell Drain 1991 Highway 402 culvert and replacement tender to BKT Excavating in the amount of $70,000, excluding HST. Someone to bring that motion. Councilor Brennan, second by Councilor Hippel. Anything to add to the report, Director Ortiz?
Thank you. Through the chair to the chair, I think the report speaks to itself. It was an open bid, and we are awarding to the lowest bidder, BKT Excavating Limited, the lowest of 7 bids, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, you have a second motion in front of you. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion carries. Economic Development, the Municipal Communication Policy. Motion that council approve the updated Municipal Communications Policy. Someone bring that motion.
I'll bring another motion.
Well, I gotta get this one out. I've asked for the one.
Can I just put one on?
Yep.
I don't have to put this one, right?
Right, but I'm bringing this motion and you can bring it up.
You're bringing it.
Yeah, I'm asking if there's anybody who wants to bring that motion.
I'll bring a motion.
Okay. Councilor Brennan has already brought a motion on this. Second, is there a second? Councilor Hippel. Questions? Councilor Derbyshire, just going through the process there, Bill.
Yeah, I think we should be able to put a motion forward and we don't end up doing so many amendments and changes to it, but it is what it is. So in this policy, which I did address with the director, yes, director, it lists municipal personnel. It has council down as municipal personnel. So this is, we are now to be governed by the same rules that apply to everyone as part of this. In this, it has the CAO being the one who will, who I would have to ask a request to have a media consultation with, who would actually deal with anything where a council member ventures out of area. So say I reached out to the media and made some comments on this and that, this here would have the CAO be responsible for my comments. It just according to this, it has us as municipal employee, or we're grouped in with all the employees. This is the only policy that I can find in our thing where we are put in as municipal personnel, not as staff and council. I did review other policies from other communities. I looked at North Middlesex, who has a communications policy, and it is very clear with its staff and who is that. Middlesex Center does get into on its, I believe it's Facebook or its social media stuff where it includes council in the direction of following that. Adelaide Metcalf has none. Southwest Middlesex clearly sets it aside and they call it a social communication thing where staff is applicable here. All the other ones, when I looked up who council, we have code of conduct, we have the municipal act, and the integrity commissioner is always who we would have our things with. This is a staff policy created for staff to make sure. If we want something separate for council, then we should, if you want to do that, make something separate for council, but we also have the code of conduct, which does touch base on media and social media and all that. So my motion would be that we remove us, council members, as part of the municipal personnel.
Yes, for an amendment to that, for an amendment to the motion in front of us.
Yeah.
We got a motion, you want an amendment to remove?
I would make him, that would, yeah, my motion would have been to approve this with us removed. Us, and actually, to be honest with you, I see contractors listed too as municipal personnel. I think if we want them to follow this policy, that should always be put in the RFP that goes out to them so that they have the option to say, I don't want to follow this, or this is a stumbling block for us, we don't want to do that. But that, instead of just saying, they have to abide by this, they might not even know about this when they apply for a job. So if one of their guys makes an off-the-cuff comment to the media or on social media, they would actually still be privy to this without really knowing it. Whereas I would have contractors that you can use this policy for them, but make it so that it's written in the RFP that they have to follow this policy.
All right. Councilor Brennan, I think Councilor Brennan brought the motion.
Yes, to approve the policy.
Are you okay with the friendly amendment? Or you...
Subject to some discussion.
Yes.
I guess what I'm looking at here in terms of the municipal communications policy, and this would be through the chair to, I guess, whoever is going to be answering this question, I'm not quite sure who, is the intent here to determine how people who are speaking on behalf of the municipality are speaking. So if a person is speaking on behalf of the municipality and from a position of authority, this communications policy would apply. But if a councillor was stating an opinion on a matter before council, would this policy not apply to that? I think I'm trying to look for a distinction here. I don't want this communications policy to unduly limit the ability of councillors to speak to the press or the public.
Director Lolo.
Through the chair to Councillor Brennan, the policy is intended to deliver municipal communication by designated spokespeople, including council. Under section 8.0, I believe, it talks about the function of council and media relations, where councillors speak to political matters, emergency situations, and community matters of a non-operational nature. The intention of the policy is for council to govern the policy staff to administer the policy, but it doesn't preclude council from speaking to media at any time. The appendix outlines designated spokespeople, including the mayor and council, to speak to media. It's just a list of people that are designated to speak to media.
So then to clarify, this communications policy governs spokespersons who are designated and given the authority to speak on behalf of the municipal corporation, but does not limit councillors' ability to speak to the media as a councillor. Is that correct?
Through the chair to Councillor Brennan, that is correct.
Okay, thank you. So then returning to the other matter, the mayor had a question for me, which was?
Did you accept the friendly amendment?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Derbyshire, your hand was up.
So I will then go through you to the director. So it says, the purpose is to provide clear guidelines, structure, and deployment management and oversight of all internal, external communications undertaken and authorized by the municipality in these releases. I do believe that when we speak about municipal personnel and how it applies, does this not apply to all municipal personnel, which would include council? There's not a section that breaks it out and says, this is council. We're included in all of this. So when it does state here that the CAO will be designated chair of the, or we eliminated that committee part, the scope, but the CAO shall be primarily responsible for the general maintenance, advancement, stewardship of this policy, and to assist with the CAO, he may get the striking communication, which we've done away with that, but the CAO is in charge of this. So when we read through this, if we're all municipal personnel, then we all follow these guidelines, and yes, it's struck out down here that the mayor is supposed to go out and do this. Our code of conduct and the municipal act clearly makes those same designations, which is what I'm saying. This here, all you're trying to do is, and I know the intent was not to handcuff us. That's why I was asking, remove us. We already have policies, procedures, and codes of conduct. All you're doing here is adding one more layer of confusion to this.
Did you have a comment on that, Director Lalonde?
Through the chair to Councillor Derbyshire, thank you for your comments. I just want to point out to Council that this policy has been in existence since at least 2018. This is just an updated version to include different kinds of media and to update the current list. So it is Council's decision as to where you want to take this policy moving forward.
Can I just make one more?
One more, and then we're going to move to somebody else.
I want to make it crystal clear, I'm not attacking you as the director of this. If the policy was wrong in 2018, then we shouldn't have been part of it in 2018 too. I'm not saying that this is I'm not attacking anybody here. What I'm saying is a mistake. I think a mistake was made in putting council as part of this. I think this is a staff policy that we give direction to. We are overseen by other things. So just so we're clear, I'm not attacking the director for this. I'm just clearly saying to council, we should not be part of this as it is overseen by the CAO, who's our employee.
Councillor Wilsey.
So from the discussion I've heard tonight, it appears as though the intent of staff in writing this bylaw doesn't actually match up with the language in a few different points. Two other points I'd like to make is this document, the first time it's actually been discussed as council is right now. So it's in front of us for approval with changes that council and staff have made to it. But this is the first time it's been in front of council for discussion. It was on our agenda previously, but the director was absent. So we were asked to not discuss it and to email her our comments. With that being said, we haven't had a chance to discuss it. The intent, it's brought forward by councillors that the intent, and even by the director, that the intent doesn't match the language. I also know that changes that I'd emailed out initially at the meeting were not on the version that was emailed to council last week, and between that email that came out to staff and tonight, my changes have actually been included. So without knowing, I don't know what changes the deputy mayor made or any other councillor made, and we haven't discussed any of them to know if they were just one councilor's opinion or not. So with all that being said, I don't believe there's been enough discussion to approve this. I don't believe with issues with the intent not mentioning language, I'm gonna make a motion that we defer this to an upcoming strategic priorities meeting, and that we discuss it at better length at that time before it comes back to council.
Okay, do you have a seconder?
Did I make a motion?
Nope.
No.
You did not.
You didn't.
No.
He's the only motion, he's deferring the motion that's on the floor.
I'm saying to send this to strategic priorities so we can discuss it.
So then
Discussion,
I'll
second it.
Okay.
Can I make one point of
There's no
clarification?
discussion on a deferral, Counselor. Can't discuss, can't debate a deferral. So you have a motion to defer. All in favor of the motion to defer? Opposed, if any? How did you, I'm sorry, Counselor, did you vote to defer or against?
I did vote to defer.
You voted to defer, so motion is to defer, that carries.
You have action for it?
Till the next strategic priorities.
The next strategic priorities.
Yep, motion to defer. The municipal branding guidelines, motion is a council approve the municipal branding guidelines. Motion to approve. Councillor Pelkman, second by the deputy mayor. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the seconded motion? Opposed, if any? Motion carries. Deputy Mayor, the county council report.
Very quickly, I didn't bring this up last meeting, it was going late into the night. So back on the 7th of October, we spoke about consolidated municipal service management agreements, and I think you hear about these things all the time, but you might not understand how they develop, sorry. So back in the late 90s, the province pushed down a whole bunch of servicing criteria from the province down to municipalities, and they did this through an act in Parliament, but that brought down a whole bunch of things like Ontario Works and childcare, housing, the health unit, and the paramedic service. So in this region, what happened is London kind of got dropped with all of this responsibility. And then the county and London have a great partnership. So they sat down and said, well, we kind of need some agreements in place because, you know, London, you can't forget about this huge landmass that surrounds you. So they come up with Consolidated Municipal Service Management Agreements, CMSMs, we always refer to them. We hear about them almost every meeting. So those have just been renewed, and it was always an 85-15 split, with London paying 85%. And the county paying 15% of any money that was not funded by the government. So MLTS, which is London Middlesex Paramedic Service, comes in, they have a budget of $1, the province is given 80 cents, there's 20 cents left over, London picks up 15% of that, and we pick up the extra nickel. That's how these agreements work, and they've just been renewed. And I can tell you that the homeless prevention program was pulled out of those to show that it used to be consolidated in another program, but we actually pulled out the homelessness portion and made it its own program now. That shows the significance of the homelessness program and how it's viewed by the county. So that's what's going on in the county. It affects us. So if you see Middlesex London Health Unit, Middlesex London Paramedic Service, that tells you that Middlesex County holds control of that. We're the service provider on that. If you see London Middlesex Housing, London Middlesex Works, that means London Council is dealing with those. So that's how you can always tell which council is responsible for dealing with the governance of it and which municipality is responsible for the administration of it. It's whoever holds it has their name out front. So that's just a little bit of tidbit. That's where a lot of your money from your what we call the levy, which is your taxation, goes to the county. That's where a lot of that gets dispersed out to. Thank you.
Inquiries and comments. We'll start with Councillor Hippel.
Thank you. Just a reminder to everyone in the South Grove area, if for those of you that don't know where that is on Saxton, between Carroll and Walker's. We have a public park open house at the Gemini coming up on Thursday, November the 13th at 7 o'clock. This is really long overdue for a lot of people that have been there, have lived there for a very long time. So please come with questions and ideas and thoughts and all of just excitement, because we're going to do this. We're going to get this done, and this is going to be fantastic. And then, you know what, if you're super Christmassy and you're getting ready, we've got in Melbridges, they have their Christmas a couple of days on the 14th and the 15th, coming up right after that of November. Melbridges always has their Christmas weekend with all of, you've got the tree lighting and all the stores and all the businesses and library, everything. There's all sorts of exciting things going on. So, yeah, I mean, it's a little too early for Christmas yet, because there's going to be some Remembrance Day activities coming up and ceremonies coming up, but I was going to let the mayor and other people talk to that. So anyways, that's it for me.
Councillor Wilsey.
I was gonna, if the mayor and the deputy mayor are gonna talk about Remembrance Day, I'll leave that to them, but I just wanted to remind everyone to thank a veteran, visit your legions. There's a lot of people who did a lot for us. We need to make sure we pay our respect to them. As a question, our CAO is not here tonight, but to the clerk, one of the things that I've been hearing questions about in the community is just it's something in our procedural bylaw, and it says every year we're supposed to release our closed meetings and any related documents that have, which aren't actually private anymore. The issues have been dealt with. My question is, when are we going to do that? Is there a set date that happens every year? I looked on the website over the last week or so, and I wasn't able to find it anywhere. Are we releasing those, or when will they be released?
Through the chair to Councillor Wilsey, I'm gonna have to look into that. That's not something that I have ever seen in practice since I've been here, so I'm gonna have to look into that further to see when the last time we did it and the procedure on how to.
Oh, okay, because, yeah, when I read it, I thought it was, because I found it in the procedure bylaw, I thought it was supposed to be done annually, but.
Yeah, it probably does say that. However, as far as I know, I'm not familiar as to when the last time we have, so I'll have to look into it further and I can let you know.
Councillor Brandon.
Just one quick item. People probably saw it in the news, but it looks like there's going to be some big changes coming to the Conservation Authority system. It was announced this week that the government's intention is to collapse the 36 existing conservation authorities, which deal with watersheds and handle flood protection, into 7 regional bodies. So apparently this is going to take place after the term of this council, I think, in the next year. So, you know, maybe come, you know, the next election cycle, when you have a council elected, maybe you will not have councillors sitting on council who are sitting on conservation authorities. I don't know if the new model will be that people sitting on county councils are maybe appointed to these 7 regional bodies. But there's big changes coming, and I just thought I'd announce that because personally, Frank Kennis and I sit on St. Clair. Which one do you sit on? Upper Thames? Lower Thames. And so your local representation on conservation authorities may be changing in a year or so. Thank you.
Councillor Peltman.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too, just because there are some local aspects for us specifically, thinking as Canada, which you know, may be at risk in a larger administration, or some of the campgrounds I would worry about. But on the other hand, you know, it makes a good point is that, you know, we have interaction with 3 conservation authorities, one of which is for just a very tiny sliver of land. So maybe it might work out well, and maybe not. I do worry about some of those local flavors. I want to throw a shout out to everyone who organized and participated at the Spooky Saturday event at the West Middlesex or the agricultural complex, fairgrounds complex, right? It was very, very well attended. I think the train counted 970 riders. They were pretty much full nonstop. With lots of smiles, lots of laughter, and I did actually get a chance to sneak into the railway building and have a talk with the guys, and the 2 gentlemen that were that I spoke to. One lives in Waterloo, and the other more towards Chatham. But because we're the only railway that does this kind of thing, and I think pretty much in southwestern Ontario, you know, this is where they wanted to spend their volunteer time. And I just found that incredible that the one gentleman would drive an hour and a half to volunteer here in Strathroy. So it was a great job. Like I said, very well attended, and I had a good time being there, being part of it. So.
Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you. I got 2 things, and Greg didn't touch on it, so I'm just going to thank him for stepping up last night and attending the event at the Mount Bridges Community Center for Sir Arthur
Curry.
There we go. Yes, I had committed and then forgot I had something else to do, but Greg stepped up and went to it, so I do thank him for that. And I'm sure it was a great time. My other thing is I've asked 3 or 4 times, numerous times around this horseshoe, and you know, I find myself a lot of times wondering exactly what my role is. I don't want to feel like I'm always sitting here. It seems like I'm arguing or debating or kind of swimming upstream, for lack of a better way of putting it. So I looked into what exactly my role is according to the Municipal Act. I did find section 224, the role of the councillor. It's pretty quick. There's about 5 sections to it. If you don't mind, I would just like to rhyme them off so that we all know exactly what the Municipal Act says our role is here. And the role of council: A, to represent the public and to consider the well-being of its interests and of the municipality. I also note that the municipality, when you look it up as to the reference, is the area, the geographical area that encompasses your municipality. That is it. It's not the people. In the people they speak of in the municipality is the rate payer. B is to develop and evaluate policies and programs of the municipality, to determine which services the municipality provides, to ensure the administrative policies, practices, procedures, controllership policies, practices, and procedures are in place to implement the decisions of council, to ensure the accountability and transparency of the operations of the municipality, including the activities of senior management of the municipality, to maintain the financial integrity of the municipality, and to carry out the duties of the council under this or any other act. So I understand that sometimes I come across like I don't want to be here, I just want to argue. I guess when I read that, I feel it is my role to make sure that we're doing the right things around here. So, and I know that's everyone's intention here, I just, you know, this clearly defines though what we are to look after and look out for, and it is the taxpayer, the ratepayer.
Deputy Mayor. No.
Chair.
Sorry. November 11th is Remembrance Day. I know Councilor Wilsey started to talk about it, but you need to remember we're a rural community, and it seems, and it strikes home to me when I go to Mount Bridges to the Caradoc Community Center, and I see the list of names of people who served and gave their lives. A lot of the last names I recognize. You know, they're names that are familiar to the community, and here in Strathroy, when you go out to the cenotaph. So traditionally and historically, rural communities have given more than anyone sacrificed for this country. So November 11th is Remembrance Day, and yes, it is for some a day off, but I just really would like everyone to come to one of the 3 Remembrance Day services, either Strathroy or Mount Bridges. Melbourne is this Sunday, and as Councillor Derbyshire just espoused, you know, the role of a councillor, those roles we owe to the sacrifice that others have made. So I just encourage everyone to attend a Remembrance Day service and remember those who fought and gave for our freedoms. Now go to the consideration of the bylaws. You will note I have removed bylaw number 122-25. So motion that bylaw number 119-25, bylaw number 123-25, and bylaw number 124-25 receive first, second, third, and final readings. Someone bring a motion. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Brennan. All in favor? Motion carries. Next meeting is our regular council meeting of November 17th at 6 p.m. Motion to adjourn at 8:06. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Brennan. All in favor? That motion carries.